Hey guys, we just completed this rack build for the band Weekend is Romans out of Detroit, Michigan. Let's dive in to see what is going on. Alright, so starting off, we have 4 trays as you can tell. We have a spare QC. We have Josh stage left, so this will be guitarist. We have Andy stage right, which is bassist, and we have Lou stage right, which is another guitarist. We have Sennheiser EW100 G3 wireless systems at the top. They're all labeled spare. They're labeled Lou or Andy, depending on who it needs on. We're also using the iConnectivity MIOXM MIDI interfaces for both, as you can tell, connected via Ethernet with jacks on the back, so that we have 2 jacks going to one for each, and it's connecting to their computer to do Ableton and triggering Ableton, which I will briefly show shortly. Everything is powered from 4 Cioks DC7 units, so every tray has a DC7, and then 2 of the trays will have Crux. And what we're doing is we're actually using 5 outputs to do the Mios, and then we're doing 4 outputs from a different unit to do the QC, and then we also have the noise pedal from Talon Electronic we're also using, so we're doing power through that, as well as the Sennheisers are also powered from the DC7, which is really cool because on the DC7 it has a percentage of how much power has been used up, and we're still in the green, which is awesome. So this makes this fly rig and travel rig for the band super convenient and all in one with simple connections. As well as we have PowerCon on the back with PowerCon in and through, so we are powering both racks from one single power cable right now. Back panel, we have Ethernet out for both of the satellite boards. So the way that these satellite boards work is that we have Ethernet coming in and it's doing input signals so they can tune, they can step on this. We'll mute their signal as soon as they're ready, unmute it, signal goes back out into the rack. And that's all by one simple Ethernet cable. And then we have a power brick on the side, as you can tell. We're going straight into the tuner today, bypassing the wirelesses, which is another easy way. If something happened with the wirelesses, they could easily still play. They just connect the cable. For the Ethernet boxes, we are using the Radial Mini Catapult boxes. The little satellite boards are done on Creation Music Company flat series boards, as well as it also holds the Boss TU3 tuner. Starting off, we have tray 1, which is spare. So we have a spare tray. So this will have a DC7 on the back, and I'll have USB-C in to do any programming if they want to do, as well as just anything they got to get to. Everything is on the back. Input, dual XLR out, as well as not quarter inch. We got input, dual XLR out, MIDI, then we got power. And the DC7s are bolted down, and we used a crap load of dual lock on the QC, so they're not going to move. Next tray, we have Josh. So we have the QC, we have a DC7 and a Crux, as you can see on the back right there, and the noise pedal. Noise pedal, we add MIDI to it, so it's actually toggle on and off via Ableton. So I put all of the octave 1, octave 2, the ons and the off values and how to do it, as well as which output the MIOXM is coming from, which is 4, and then the quad is coming from 3, where it's going. So everything has a label on the front. So like this is output 2. For this quad, they say 4. So it kind of just depends where it's going. Next, we got bass. So Andy is running just a single quad Cortex as well. So we're doing the same. 1 input, dual XLR out, MIDI out, as well as USB-C out. 1 DC7. So this DC7 is powering the QC, and it's also powering the Sennheisers, which it is also labeled. So everything is labeled, so there are no issues for the tech. And we got Lou. So Lou is the other guitarist that we have, and we have a Talon electric pedal going in this spot. Has not arrived yet to be MIDI modded, so we just have the spare spot there for now. Once he gets it, we'll just pop it in, and it won't skip a beat at all for MIDI. He is doing a little bit different, and I meant to mention that on Josh's, as well as we are running the effects send and return on theirs to do the Talon. It's not going before anything. So in their preset, they'll have to turn the loop on and the loop on. You can't. The reason it's MIDI modded is because it's a soft momentary switch, so you can't just simply turn on and off. The effects loop won't do anything. You would simply just be turning on the signal. They physically, internally, the foot switches toggle on and off, and they hold for periods of time, if depending on how long they need it for that song. So it could be like a momentary on and off to do an effect. It could hold it for a long time. It could do the octave +1 or the +2. So it's really cool, really handy pedal to have. One thing I want to mention, which is really cool, is that on Josh, and I'll briefly just play it so we can hear it, is for all of Andy, Josh, and Lou's boards, how it's wired is we're going wireless out, we're going out into a catapult, and the catapult sends Ethernet down to the satellite board, to the tuner, out the tuner, back into the rack via Ethernet. And then that cable is actually being wired to an XLR output jack. And why we did an output jack is that if for any reason, one of the QCs goes down and they need to bypass it and they need to enable the spare, this will allow, by simply plugging in an XLR from the output of Josh's wireless output, we'll say Josh WL out. As soon as we plug that in, instantly we have signal to the spare. And so the tech, if something goes down, they can easily take one XLR and jumper it from 1 to 2. And then turn this up. We got sound. Which comes in real handy. Especially because there's no like extra rerouting that needs to be done. It's simply just this. They put that one jumper from one to another, and it makes it really, really simple. All right, let's go ahead and show off the automation with Ableton, which is really, really cool. And it was one of my favorite things to try to learn too, just because there's so many little things you have to kind of set up with the MIOXM, which Lou did a great job with a playback tech to get all of it all ready to go, and we're super excited that it's all working. And it's just such a fun little thing to see that kind of stuff switch. So they can be on the stage playing, and then all of a sudden a new patch comes on and it changes, to a lead line or to a delayed part, or in these cases it's changing tunings for them or changing different songs that they have queued up. All right, so what I'm going to go do is I'm going to play a test track so you can see the MIDI turning on and off. I'm going to turn off the lights so you guys can see it nice and clear. All right, so I'll turn it off for a minute and then you guys can see it turned on. What's going to happen is that this noise is going to toggle on. So if I step on it now, you'll see the LED turns on. But what will happen is tracks will actually trigger it. So we got the QC, we'll just change to his A preset, as well as we have some other messages that will toggle. So we'll toggle different things quickly, depending on the song. And then I have a MIDI CC. At the very end of this test, you'll see that it'll toggle it on and off on the noise. All right, and here we go for the noise. And then it'll turn right off. So now seeing that from a lights on perspective, which is a little bit different. As soon as we trigger it, you'll see it's changing, which is really cool. MIDI is flashing on the Mios, so it's saying that everything is coming through. So if I was to open up bass underneath, if I was to open up Andy, you would see it's the same thing. It's going to change through all of his parts. And they do have some songs queued up, so if I queued up a song, you'll see that it will switch from one key to a different. And for Andy, his is a little bit different because he has certain stuff going on. But yeah, it's a really cool little feature to have. So this will be going from the A to a C in a minute. So this would be like triggering a song. And then he has to do anything. He just plays. And going from another song. And we'll switch to C. As well as Josh's will switch. We're switching to F. I don't have to do anything. And that is how the MIDI works. So it's communicating via the Mio to the units to make it possible so that the band can be on stage playing, not have to worry about anything. All they have to step on is their tuner when they're ready to tune. All right, so that's it. So the rack shelves I do want to mention are by the company Circle 3 Designs. They came in a Pelican case, all foamed out, which is really, really handy. These rack sliding trays with the double latch right here that just click. They are from Pedalboard, as well as a fixed tray from Pedalboard. All the cabling that we're using are Creation Music Company shorties for the effects loops, and we've got switchcraft for the XLRs, some BTPA straight MIDI connectors, as well as SP400 pancakes for these. And then we got RCA connectors from Redco Audio for the power supplies, as well as power DC cable from BTPA. Everything is wired with Mogami cabling, so we have 2528, or we have instrument cable as well as mic cable. If you have any questions, please drop a comment below. Make sure you check out the band's Instagram, We Came as Romans. They are awesome. I've been listening to them for years, and I grew up in Michigan too, so it's cool to be able to work with them. If you have any questions, like I said, drop a comment below. Hit that little bell so you know when a new video drops, and you'll be ready for the next crazy build that we do. Have a good one, guys.